Doug Gottlieb in for Colin. You heard the voice of the lovely and talented Joy Taylor, and seated on our couch is a Heisman Trophy winner and a college football analyst for Fox Sports. He's Reggie Bush, played 11 seasons in the National Football League, drafted number 2 overall. Let me start with the OBJ press conference.
Yeah.
That was an interesting one, right? When you got all the players up there.
No coach, no GM, no president, nothing.
No. What's your reaction?
I like it because it came off as this is a player first organization, right? And so I like just having the players up there and really allowing us to see them together, right, as a team, and all handling the press conference. I thought they handled it well. They were even Myles Garrett, who didn't say anything, literally didn't. He was up there for moral support, right? And so I loved seeing that. And I love the things that I heard from Odell talking about legacy, because I do believe that this move it has that feeling to it, has a legacy feeling to it. I actually ran into Odell a couple of days ago at a restaurant, and we spoke about that thing. This move to me feels a lot like when I went to New Orleans. The magnitude, the opportunity that he has in front of him, because winning a Super Bowl for the New York Giants is different than winning a Super Bowl for the Cleveland Browns, right? Like, the Giants have been there, done that before, but you win one in Cleveland. Like that's your kids will get free meals, right? Like, oh, that's Odell's grandkids. Come on in here, like, you know what I mean? And that's the significance that this has for them. With that said, I love what I heard from Freddie Kitchens. He said, "We're good on paper right now. That's it." So they still have a lot of work to do, and he understands that. We have a ways to go. Just because we're good on paper right now does not mean that we're going to win X amount of games.
All right, let me ask you then about coaching.
Yeah.
Obviously, when you won a Super Bowl, it's with Sean Payton.
Mm-hmm.
And, for people who've forgotten, Sean Payton's a Parcells guy, right?
Yep.
Came over from the Dallas Cowboys.
Mm-hmm.
Can Freddie Kitchens, who was a running back coach and only called plays the second half of the year, can he walk in front of that room and command the respect it's going to take there's a lot of talent, but there's also some egos there.
That is the biggest question, I think, of the season, because you have the talent, right? You have now the most talented team the Cleveland Browns maybe have ever had. And so now, to me, does the ownership fall more on the coaching staff? Because you have no excuses now of why you can't be successful. And it is going to be interesting, to say the least, to watch Freddie Kitchens as a head coach, because Freddie Kitchens as a running back coach, to the players, there's a different level of respect. There's a different level of respect that the players, that he has to command when he walks into a room, like you just alluded to. And so from running back, play caller to now head coach, that's tough. And to do it that quick, like, you've quickly jumped into power, as a CEO of this football team, and the direction of this team is going to be based off of the culture that he creates for them, right? Because, like you said, there are a lot of big personalities there right now. You're going to have to keep them all happy. And so now, I'm going to be watching the coaching staff.
Does Baker have the goods? And I bring this up because, people went crazy over the yardage that he put up.
Yeah.
But against the good teams, I think 11 touchdowns, 10 interceptions, right?
Yeah.
He's still a smallish quarterback.
Yeah.
And he still only started half the season or 3/4 of the season, whatever. Mm-hmm. Does Baker have the goods? He has the personality to command the room. Mm-hmm. Does he have the goods?
I think he does. I was at the game, the Thursday night game where he took over as quarterback, and the electricity in that stadium completely shifted when Baker stepped on that field. The fans were chanting for him at some point, and when he stepped on that field, it was like the offensive line was blocking better. It was like he all of a sudden had time football up and down the field. They were playing the New York Jets. It was just a different feeling when he stepped on that field. He elevated a play of not only the players around him, he elevated the stadium. Like, he energized the stadium. And I quickly found myself I became a fan right away. Like watching that game and just seeing how just one player can really change the direction and just the feeling about a franchise.
It will be interesting with the raised expectations. Let me ask you about the Cardinals and the Raiders. I just talked a little bit about the fact that they both have quarterbacks that they don't love, right? Josh Rosen's only been there for it feels like 2 minutes.
Yeah.
Whereas Derek
Carr's
been there, and for whatever reason, neither coaching staff seems to have totally embraced him.
Yeah.
But the Raiders are saying all the right things. We love him. He's our guy, even though they're still working out Kyler and working out Dwayne Haskins.
Yeah.
The Cardinals, they can't say enough nice things about Kyler Murray. And they've said, look, Josh Rosen's our quarterback for now. What do you think of the two teams and how they're handling similar situations?
Well, the Arizona Cardinals, they obviously got a first-time head coach as a NFL head coach, and so their approach is a lot different than obviously Gruden's is a seasoned veteran. Like he's been in this, he has skin in the game. He's done this before, and so Derek Carr, I agree with you. They're saying all the right things. They're doing it the right way. And at the same time, they're still entertaining, right, Dwayne Haskins and Kyler Murray. And so everybody knows that Cliff Kingsbury, right?
Yep.
Cliff Kingsbury's offensive system is better suited for Kyler Murray than it is Josh Rosen because of his athletic ability and what he brings to the table. With that said, I'm not sure how much of this falls on the organization or the head coach, because just looking at the last 2 years, this year and last year for the Arizona Cardinals, there's a lot of questions. Like I'm still scratching my head as to how Steve Wilkes got fired so quickly and wasn't allowed to really even go through a full draft class.
Well, plus remember they signed Sam Bradford, paid him $20 million,
and he did nothing.
Nothing.
He did nothing for them.
Like it's stunning.
Yeah.
And you mentioned Wilkes. Obviously they didn't. And then he hires Cliff Kingsbury, who tells them, I can fix Josh Rosen with Mike, and then he gets the job, and now he wants Kyler Murray.
And a lot of it feels like, this has a little bit of Sean McVay to do with it, right? Like, the NFL is a copycat league. Sure. And so this feels like they're trying to find that next Sean McVay, the new, young, energetic coach who's going to bring over this spread open offensive mentality. And we've seen that tried before, and it didn't work out. And so I just wonder how much of this is, going back on the president, the GM, like the people behind the scenes who are calling the shots. Because again, looking at this year and last year, I can't put a lot of this on the head coach. He just got there, so he still is trying to figure this thing out. And so I just look at the organization. They have to get this one right.
Let me ask you about the Patriots. Reggie Bush, our guest here in the herd. I'm Doug Gottlieb. Reggie, of course, you can see him this fall. Urban Meyer, Matt Leinart, Brady Quinn, and Rob Stone will be the host. A 1-hour pregame show on Big Fox every Saturday in the fall. Let me ask you about the Pats. Look, no one wants to call premature death, right? Yeah. But even the Spurs eventually, Father Time caught up to them, and they've had players retire. They're still a playoff team, but they're not going to compete for a championship. We look at the Pats, and Gronk retires. Trent Brown, whatever he signs with the Raiders. Yeah. You lose Flowers as well, and they're going to replace guys. But at some point, age starts to catch up with Brady, and late in the season, it seemed to. Yep. And at some point, you lose enough talent that the league's their pick to win, their over-under is the highest in the NFL, even though they didn't have the best record last year in the NFL. There were some struggles. What do you think the proper expectations for the Patriots should be?
Ooh, the proper expectations. I mean, I've always said coming off of a Super Bowl, it's tough to get back to Super Bowl and get back to that, that same form that you showed, the year before, because everybody is everybody's going to give you their A game, but the thing that the Patriots do have to their advantage is that division is still trash. Right. Like they still aren't good, and it doesn't look like Dolphins got better. It doesn't look like Buffalo got better.
It's LeBron in the East. Yeah.
Exactly.
It's LeBron in the East.
That's what it feels like.
The one thing is, look, the Jets are going to be much better.
They're going to be better.
They added Le'Veon Bell. Yeah. They have a bunch of kids. They have a bunch of money. They have
defensive players.
Right. They've added defensive players. Yeah. The Bills are going to be better. Josh Allen in his second year. Yeah. He couldn't be worse. I guess he could, but and they should be better.
Should be, but we've said that before.
And like, look, the other teams in the AFC, the Chargers are legit. The Chiefs are legit. They're going to be as good or better. We mentioned the Browns and their talent. I would think Pittsburgh is still. And then, the Jacksonville Jaguars should be better with Nick Foles.
I agree.
If those guys play.
Yeah.
The Colts are going to be like the AFC is better.
It is.
I'm not sitting here telling you they're going to win 6 games.
Yeah.
But the expectation that they're going to be the best team in the NFL record-wise.
No, I would disagree with that.
Yeah.
And you lose a guy like Gronk. Man, Gronk brought so much to that team. Just his size, his stature. You literally can't guard a guy like that. You put a linebacker on him, he's too slow. Put a on him, he's too small, right? And then not only his pass catching ability, but his blocking ability on that offensive line, I thought was very underrated because a lot of those runs, big runs that we've seen over the course of his career had a lot to do with him and his ability and his want to, because a lot of tight ends don't even want to get down there and do it anymore. And so you have a guy that wants to get down in the trenches, get dirty, get physical, and open it up. And I believe Sony Michel really saved this offense last year. I mean, a lot of his production in the playoffs. He was a big reason why they were successful.
And Gronk opening up holes, being a dual threat tight end is a huge reason why. Welcome to the family. Thank you so much for being with us. Reggie Bush joins us. Let's quickly get to Joy Taylor with the news.